Welcome to Spirited Straight Talk, the podcast to help you thrive with the help of spirit. I'm Deb Shepard, psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and author. Each week, I bring new insights to help you heal from loss, connect with spirit, and turn setbacks into triumphs. So let's get started.
Hello, Spirited Straight Talk listeners. We are excited to reintroduce, bring on Numerologist Glynis McCants. She has been studying numerology for over 30 years, and we love having her on. She is fabulous. Her unique method is based on the Pythagoras number system, which is more than 2,500 years old. She spent 13 years researching numerology and did over 15,000 readings. And then she wrote her book, her international best-selling book, Glynis Has Your Number, which has been translated into 15 languages. It's become a go-to book for people eager to learn numerology, and we use it consistently in Deb's SOULution classes to teach and or share numerology. After successfully picking her numbers, interesting story, Glynis used numbers to pick her husband. She was inspired to write her second book, another bestseller called Love by the Numbers. Glynis is internationally known for her accuracy, and she is constantly sought out by Fortune 500 companies to help their employees achieve great success. You might have seen her on 60 Minutes, The Today Show, Nightline, CBS's The Talk, The View, Entertainment Tonight. She's also been on Dr. Phil and many others. Numerologist Glynis McCants says that when we have someone's name and date of birth, we can discover exactly who they are. Numbers are not just in people, but also our homes, businesses, cities, states, pets, etc. Her mission is to simplify what numerology is all about and to help everyone out there change their lives for the better, which is always our mission. So we are bringing her to you. Let's welcome Glynis McCants.
I am so freaking excited to have this amazing, funny lady.
Powerhouse.
So before we even started recording, my cheeks are hurting because Glynis has this laughing, which is her past life. I'm here with Dana, and we are going to talk about 2024 in the wheelhouse of numerology. Glynis, you just cracked me up, and I love what you share. And we just so much sync, and I don't sync with everybody, but where do you want to get started with this, with 2024? What do you want to share?
Well, the first of all, great to be here with both of you. Terrific. You guys always make me laugh. You're so delightful. And technically, when I look at your chart, remember, you're a natural match in numerology. And what that means is when it comes right down to it, like when the pressure's on, that's where you can end up in agreement. It's the little things in life where you may not be the same.
Which is what we were talking about beforehand, our partners. But we want to talk about numerology. What does it mean?
So let me tell you this. Numerology itself, it's a science of numbers. It is 2,500 years old. Pythagoras was the creator of the system that I use, which is over 2,500 years, right? So we're talking about something that really had an impact. And what's interesting that you may not know, people know the name Pythagoras, they know through geometry, but what they don't know, Pythagoras never wrote a book on numerology. It was his followers that shared that information. And I find that fascinating, don't you?
Wow, that's incredible. Was he also, because we've been diving into some historical stuff.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, because he was Greek.
Yes.
He actually took part in the Eleusinian Mysteries.
Yes.
Way back then. He was one of those original
people that partook.
People that partook in the mysteries. Yeah.
And here's the other thing he did that people will love. Father of harmonics. Yeah, he was the father of harmonics.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
When you hear music, it's all numbers.
Yes.
And ladies, when you listen to a song, let's say you turn on the radio and you hear a song like, I cannot stand it. Chances are it's a challenge to you in numerology. It's energy. The vibration of the song is not good for you. And that's why I tell people when they're trying to maybe go through health issues to play music that resonates with them, music they grew up loving, because that can help heal the frequency of your vibration, which is what Pythagoras was all about.
Wow.
And we talk about sound healing a lot, and we do bring sound healing. So
well,
it's
Dana,
all, I mean, it all
certified
works so together. It works together. Yeah.
As my students say, it's all connected. It's freaking cool, right? It all makes sense. Yeah. So you're going to, and so many of my students, we just brought in the numerology idea in one of my classes, that it's a SOULution program, and they all bought your book and they're loving it.
Yes. Yeah. And what makes it great, it helps apply what's going on with your life, whether it's your business life, your love life, your health. If we are all vibration, and that's true for everything, your home has vibration. Your business has vibration, the people you meet, and the ones of us that are really sensitive, that's why you pick it up so quickly. You can walk in a house and go, I don't like it here. I got to go. And you don't have to know numerology. You just know you don't like it. But if you knew the numbers, you'd understand why. So this, what I teach in both books, Glynis Has Your Number and Love by the Numbers, it's about teaching you what you don't know, having another tool to understand this world we live in.
Yep. Exactly. And that's exactly
said.
what, I think all Deb's students bought Glynis Has Your Number recently. So yes, it's that
is a go-to book. People love that book.
They're no longer virgins in the numerology ideas.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we love you, Glynis. So thanks for being here. But you talked about your numbers resonating with each other. And I know we've talked before about Deb and our numbers.
Yes.
I'm a 3, Deb is a 9. Our numbers jive, but you and your husband have a similar number. And I know we were talking about, I've been driving Deb crazy lately.
Yes.
Well, no, just Glynis, you shared the story and I started cracking up and I punched Dana on the shoulder.
Right. So here's what it is. It's the number 4 versus the natural match. Like, Deb, you're a 9, I'm a 3. That's a natural match. But when you look at the 4 energy, it can challenge you. So the fact is, Dana is born on a 4 day. Now, my husband happens to be a 4 life path. And I said, what makes me nuts about 4? They do like to organize. They like to clean it up. But they don't check with you first. And so my example would be, if I'm enjoying a yummy cup of coffee and I've got 2 drops left, I go to reach for it, it's gone. I'm like, oh no. And I say, Charlie, what happened? He's like, I put it in the sink. I'm like, but did anyone ask you to, grasshopper? No. But they do it, and they think they're being helpful.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I am being helpful, though. I am.
Well, I think I share with Glynis because I'm cracking up. The other day, I took the glass out of the cabinet. I put it down. I turned around, which is all within just a couple feet from each other, to get something out of the refrigerator to put in my glass. And the glass was already put in the dishwasher. And I didn't even have a sip of anything out of it yet. I'm like, what is my glass? I thought I was getting a little dementia. I was a little bit worried. But then I found out that someone was cleaned up before I was done. But you think, did I take it out of the, did I take it out of the cabinet? Am I crazy?
So
what I do now, my advice when you deal with 4 energy, and this is true for everyone listening, you can say beforehand, like example, let's say I make a meal for myself. I say to Charlie, don't touch anything in that kitchen. Do not. When I am done eating, I will clean up. I promise you, Charlie, I will clean it up. Do not touch it. It's like, oh, okay.
But I can't help it.
Yeah, I've done that.
Try.
I think you gave me this advice last year. I think I recalled this. This is deja vu. But yeah, I'm like, I'll take care of it. But yeah, it's very fascinating.
I can't help it. What is it about the 4 energy? I literally cannot help myself.
I think what I'm going to do,
walk
Glynis,
in a room and there's stuff everywhere, I cannot.
Yes,
I can't stop myself.
2 things. The 4 is based in structure. So A plus B must equal C. They want it organized. But Deb, I forgot to give you one thing. When I say that to him, I also have a knife in my hand.
Okay,
yes.
so
and then that way he remembers. Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mess in another room so it will distract her so she won't touch my plate or my cups, and I can eat in peace while she's in the other room cleaning.
Oh,
I think.
But that's what it is. And I get that. Like, I try to respect that. And they also have little things that make them crazy. So I'll give you.
I have lots that make her crazy. I have lots. I mean,
Well, how about this? Peanut butter on a spoon, put in the sink. You want to take my husband's life? Just put a bunch of spoons with peanut butter in the sink. I've never seen anyone more upset. And my mother is legendary for doing it. So he's like, your mother, I can't believe it. There's another spoon in the sink with peanut butter. I said, oh, no, Charlie. All the problems in the world, that's the big bug.
That's the big.
Yeah.
No, I do enough to drive Dana crazy.
For me, it's cups all over the counter.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what? Someone needs to clean up after me. So you know what? That's my only complaint.
So I say this too.
The creative one. So
no, the natural state of life is chaos. It is natural that things, if you don't stay on top of it, it's a pileup, which is horrible. Yeah. So in that way, yes, of course, it's a blessing that like the 4 energy in you would want to make sure, hey, let's get it organized. But it's still about a conversation of what needs to be removed, when it needs to be removed to avoid the conflict.
The communication.
I like the communication. Maybe you could say, hey, don't touch my stuff. I'll deal with it. But then really deal with it. Like really go.
Yeah, she wants me to follow through on my end.
Well, how about this, Deb? You give her an ETA. If it's noon, say by 3, that will be gone.
There we go.
Oh, all right. So bottom line, I do know this for a fact that Glynis can help you with your relationships.
Oh, yes.
With your numbers. So she is giving us that advice, which is great advice. So I agree with you.
Love by the numbers.
Love by the numbers. Yeah. Yes. All right. So let's start with 2024.
Okay. So let me tell you, last year when we got together, we broke down 2023, 2 + 0 + 2 + 3 is 7. And I told you it was the world, Mother Nature was going to speak her mind and there was no way you could ignore her. Well, how true was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was insane, and it's still happening. We're dealing with shocking environmental catastrophes, and it really does go back to climate change and dealing with it. Now, what I did appreciate is one of the bipartisan things that was passed because of Joe Biden. They did come up with $369 billion to work on climate. And if that can stand and we're able to do that, that's going to make a big difference because I am so sorry that something like the environment became a political issue. It should not be, because if we lose planet Earth, we're dead. We're all dead. Doesn't matter the money you made, you're done. It's about water that's clean, air you can breathe. So I see a shift happening with that. But this year, people are like, okay, Glynis, give us one word to tell us what it is. Okay, so 2024 added up, it adds up to an 8 when you reduce it to 1 digit. And 8, honestly, is the year of politics, and not just in the United States. This is throughout the world. It turns out, are you ready? 4 billion people will be voting in elections this year on this planet. 4 billion.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than has ever happened before. So I had said months ago that this was the year of politics because of the number 8. But what I didn't know is how true it was throughout the world until I read the article explaining 4 billion people would be voting. So this is a big year politically, and I'm not just talking our election. Yeah, I'm talking about the shift on this planet. Like, what is it people want? Where do we stand? Who are we? And I see some good news in that for one reason. When you take that number 8 and you trace it, the 8 goes round and round, but it has those 2 perfect circles. So that means if you're going in the wrong direction, you have the ability to shift and go the other way in the same cycle. So that means like wars, for example, what we keep seeing out there, which is scary stuff, right? We have Israel, we have the Ukraine, we have stuff happening. That cannot sustain itself. Like, we cannot let people kill each other all throughout this world and not end up with a real problem, right? Which would be the fear of World War III.
Exactly.
People worry about that. We don't want it. Now, when people ask me, do you think that's going to happen? My answer is no, and only for one reason. We all lose. There is no victory there. None.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's about compromise. This year, we're going to have to find ways to compromise. And then I want people to be extremely aware when you read something, don't take it at face value. Do your research.
Yes.
Go back. As a matter of fact, when they show you a link to click on, don't click on it.
Don't click on it. Exactly.
No, if you want to find out more about that story, do your research. Go to Google, go to DuckDuckGo, go wherever you go to do the search and look it up, because you're going to find it's not quite what they say. The whole reason they give you a headline is to entice you to click on it. It doesn't make it true. So this year, that's more important. And then AI, if you're a creative person, AI should upset you terribly, because the fact that they think is okay, oh, gee, I'll just take someone's voice and pretend they said this, right? Or I'll steal someone's creative content and pretend it's mine. That has to be dealt with this year. And I do think, because it's going to affect both parties right here in the United States, we could have something. We could have something that causes a shift to be more protecting of us all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely, the last election was so affected by the beginnings of AI.
Yes.
It was so affected, and then people clicking and thinking it's true. And if this is the year of politics, we're right back in the same boat, but it's worse.
It's worse, but technically, if we play it right, it could be better.
Yes.
Okay. It could be, because we now know how this happens, right? We know how people can alter
us. Stuff.
Right?
Alter's a better word than trick.
Yeah, the opinion they can get, like example. I mean, there's no denying this, and I don't know why it gets spun the other way. Russia did play a role years ago in our election, and the funny thing is, Russia admitted they did. So I don't know why we pretend they didn't.
Right.
They care about our politics because they want someone who's more sympathetic to Putin. And at this point, I got to tell you, that's harder to find, because he has been, this is again, numbers we don't know for sure, but the last I heard that has been official, like for those who know, it was 316,000 Russian soldiers are dead over Ukraine. But why? Why? And why would they tolerate a leader that put them in that position? So technically, Putin, he's 777, and I'm sure I said it last year, but it means thank God or thank your God. And in his case, he's playing God.
He's God, yeah.
But I am convinced. Remember the health issues we hear about?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you is what,
I absolutely believe he is not in good health. I do believe it. When I heard about like doppelgangers that don't quite look like him who show up, this just wouldn't surprise me, because 777 never wants you to know their story. They don't want you to know the truth. And he's in a cycle of 7. So it's even stronger. But I believe those people who are invested will be able to get us an answer this year. Because remember, if I said year of politics, it's also a year of some truth. And by the way, it's in your face truth. So that means if you lie, you pay for the lie.
Well, good.
I know.
That's great.
I agree.
Yeah.
Some accountability.
About time.
Yeah,
Yes.
that accountability.
Yeah.
I like that. That's in the numbers. So what are you seeing in the numbers for some of these leaders? You shared about Putin, but what about, go ahead.
I'll give you like Zelensky. So the reason, technically, it's funny when we talk soulmate, right? We say there are 6 numbers in a blueprint. And if you have 3 numbers out of 6 as a soulmate connection, and Zelensky and Putin share 4 numbers out of 6. So what's interesting about that is no matter what in the history books, who's ever going to forget Zelensky versus Putin?
Right.
Nobody. And
Never.
that's what a soulmate is. Because a soulmate means it's either good news, lucky me, I found it, or it's bad news, and I'll never go through this again. So obviously this is the bad news connection. Now, Zelensky's a 6. And the reason he did so well, like when this war happened, people did think Putin would take over. Russia was going to grab Ukraine, and that's the end of it. But it didn't happen, because 6 is his life path, which is rescuing people. Like when I say rescue the damsel in distress, knight in shining armor, that's what he was. He surprised us. Yeah. This year, he happens to be in a cycle of 7. If you're a spiritual person, that means you really do lean on that spiritual side of who you are, and he is. So it remains to be seen what happens there. But I know this man has stepped up in a way no one else could have. Nobody could have done what he's done. And then
it was surprising. Yeah.
Go ahead if you have something to say.
It was surprising how
no one saw it coming.
I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
And don't forget, he's a comedian too. He played the president of Russia, like in a show that they have.
That's right. That's right.
Imagine someone like that stepping up. But there's something to be said about the Ukrainian people and how much it matters to them that is their country. You know, they'll fight for it, and you have to admire it. And remember, they did not do anything to provoke this war. And so that means if Russia did take over, then what would be next? Right?
Right, exactly.
Who would be safe? And so Netanyahu, this one I find particularly upsetting, and I'll tell you why. Because Israel is known for brilliant people. That's just a fact. If you do your research, the Nobel Peace Prize, all these awards, so many are Israelis. This is a brilliant group of people. So to say they had no idea that something was going to happen, I do not feel is honest. I don't think they knew the date. I believe that. And later on, we found out there was intel that they ignored. So you have to wonder why. Because remember, the people of Israel were not happy with Netanyahu. They were in the streets because he wanted to change the system of judges, like where he had more power. And with that in mind, next thing you know, these poor people were killed, and it was devastating. But then he took advantage enough to go, okay, we're at war, and just started to blow the heck out of Hamas. What we hope is Hamas, but other people have been killed too. So I'm just saying more will be revealed on Netanyahu and what's up. Because again, I'm extremely sympathetic to the Israeli people, what happened to them. Horrible. But did the leadership know more than they told us? That matters.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I think we can compare a little bit, and I'm not doing numerology or diving into this, but when you're saying that, I think about what happened at 9/11. We had some ideas, but we also ignored it. And I think that's what happens. We don't want our governments always to be in this fear, but from later on, we found out they did know and they ignored.
Right. They knew it for like 9 months. And again, that's around the same amount of time that Netanyahu did. So there will be, I believe, more repercussions just from the Israeli people, to perhaps say, you need to go because you did not protect us, right? This is a leader. Now, he happens to be in a year of 3, which means he will be speaking his mind. You're going to hear a lot from him. And then walking over to Joe Biden for a moment, this was interesting. Again, last year, I always cover before the year begins what I see. I said that Joe was going into a personal year of 3, which means communication, expressing himself more and being more articulate about it. Well, if you've caught speeches he's been making in this new year, it's completely true. Like we're hearing from him in a way we have not. Okay. And as for Donald Trump, now this fascinates me because, again, there are people who
you crack me up. That's how you present it.
They love him, but I think they don't really sit down to ask themselves what that really means, right? I think he's always been an entertainer. That's what I knew him as years ago. I had actually met him once because of entertainment, and yes, he loves his audience. But at this time, here's what's fascinating. He's entered a personal year of 1, which makes you competitive, but it also makes you want to say, I'm number 1. Now, the problem with that, you got to watch what you say. So he said something just the other day at a town hall that I think will come back to bite him this year. And what he said was, I alone overthrew Roe v. Wade. That wouldn't have happened except for me. I did it. I was like, okay, grasshopper, you just upset millions upon millions of women, Republican women, Democrat women, independent women. You are now taking full credit for something that we have watched people lose elections over.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just want that seed to be planted for those who follow him. And I'm also going to ask the fans of his, please just listen to his words. Watch him. Don't just black and white and say, I support him because I hate Democrats. Don't do that. Really listen so you can understand what's taking place, because this year it's going to be more obvious than it ever was what's happening. So that's what I see.
The year of truths, right?
And also repercussions for what comes out of your mouth. But remember, not the AI phony mouth, the real person talking. That's why I said the more you can hear the candidates, everybody, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, the more you hear from them, the more you know what's up. Don't look for a headline. Don't read an article that may not be true. Try to get to the source. Mm-hmm. That'll make a huge difference in this world number 8.
And it's a struggle right now to realize what's real and what's not.
We're already seeing this intensity. It's only
January,
a couple weeks into January.
It's intense.
And I'm thinking, whoa, every word is scrutinized is what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
pay attention.
I'm going to tell you something happening right now in this month of January that's causing intensity. So we got to do a little math thing here. Let's just go to the beginning. 1/1/2024. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you do is you take the month and day. 1 + 1 is 2. The actual days are 1 day. So you just put down the number 1 and then you add it straight across. Well, I already told you that 2024 is an 8, correct?
Correct.
All right, so 1 + 1 + 8 is 10. 1 + 0 is 1. That means the actual day is 1 and the whole date adds up to a 1. The next day, same thing happens. It's a 2. The whole thing adds up to 2. The next day, it's a 3. The whole date adds up to 3. When that happens, it's intense. Because if that day energy challenges you, it could be a really bad day.
That's making so much sense. That's making so much sense because it felt like on steroids.
Yeah. And yes. It's not just a little overwhelming. You're like, what is going on? But it is double energy.
Okay.
And when you know that, for me personally, it brings me more peace to say, okay, it's all right. Yeah, it's double 6. Yeah, it's double 8. But I know that. And so I feel better. And that's going to only happen this month of January. Then when we head into the month of February, it's different energy. It's not like this. You'll feel a little better. You'll feel better. Yeah.
Good.
It'll feel calmer.
Chances are you've tried a lot on your journey towards fulfillment, purpose, and joy. But nothing has worked as much as you wanted, which is so frustrating, right? The reason previous courses, books, readings, and even therapy haven't worked well is because they were all missing the most important element in creating change, your soul. That's where the SOULution comes in. The SOULution is a proven inside-out transformational program with spiritual teacher Deb Shepherd. Through personalized mentoring and exercises, you'll connect deeply with your soul and the lessons you're meant to learn in this lifetime so you can finally thrive in all areas. Over the past 20 years, Deb has helped hundreds of thousands of people release what's holding them back and step into the flow of unstoppable power, purpose, and passion. She can help you too. Plus, as a mentee in the SOULution, you also get the option to upgrade to have private one-on-one sessions with Deb every month. Personal sessions and readings are currently booked out until June. But when you're in the SOULution, you can get in every month over the next 6 months. If you're hearing this, there's a very good chance your soul is nudging you to join this incredible life-changing program. You won't regret it. Doors are closing, and there are only 8 spots remaining. Go to debshepherd.com to secure your spot.
So why don't we talk a little bit about these celebrities?
Yes. It was fascinating what happened. Like example, Suzanne Summers and Alan Hamill. No one can dispute what a power couple they have been and what a difference they made, right? I mean, she was always finding things to help us, anything she thought could help you, because of course she had experienced cancer years ago, like wasn't it in her 50s and she was 77 when she passed. But the point is she never gave up. Maybe even she was younger. The point is she was about healing and how do I make things better? And then Alan was her partner. So the first thing I thought, a one life path, again, they strive to be the best at what they do. And they're like, if they believe in something, they want you to come along. Well, she was a one, but so's Alan. And then I thought, okay, what is their soulmate connection? Well, they shared the numbers 1, 8, 9. These are power numbers in numerology. 1 is ambition, 8 is making money, 9 is all are welcome, that they're willing to touch everyone's life. Okay. So there was no limit. So when I saw that connection, I thought, oh, that explains it. But one more thing, 2 1s, when they get together, if they don't focus on the goal, they end up bickering. Like if they become critical of one another, it's a blowout. Well, all we ever saw was their love affair. But when I dug deeper, it turns out the first 10 years of their relationship, they fought like cats and dogs. Both of them tell that story. And none of us know that because that was so many years ago, right?
Right.
But what was great is Suzanne woke up one day. She said, what am I doing? Why am I fighting him? He's my partner. And the minute she made that shift, it changed forever. Like then it became this wonderful, you support me, I love you. So I like this story for everyone listening, because if you're in a relationship right now, maybe you're challenged, maybe you're bickering, but it's possible to shift it by making a new decision, a new choice.
And knowing the numbers, I'm sure, is important.
Yes.
We also heard that they had, I think I read an article somewhere, that they committed to having sex every day. I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that?
And good for them, because they were married. Weren't they married like 50 years or 40 years or something?
They were together forever. I don't have that number in front of me to know, but I know that it was early on. But I want to say this. I'm not going to say not possible, party to your table's ready, but I promise you they did not have sex every day. I promise you through the psychic core of who I am. But I'll tell you what they did do that shocked me. They literally held hands at night when they went to bed and woke up with hands held. Now, I don't know how they did that.
Well, I think that can be considered sexual or intimate, or
maybe that was their form of sex.
Yeah,
maybe.
Absolutely.
I know they made love a lot. And what was beautiful about her, when she was taking stuff for her hormones, she, got her whole drive back, right? She was very, very sexual, and so was he. So I know they had more sex than anybody else. But I'm just saying, to hold hands before you go to bed and just go to sleep that way, that to me is remarkable. That's such a soulmate connection to do that.
Yeah,
yes,
I
absolutely.
agree.
Who's next on your list?
You'll often catch Deb and I holding hands like that.
Trust me. We'd hold it, Chuck and I, for 1 second. I mean, I'm a whirling dervish. I've accidentally kicked him once, he said. I kicked his head. I don't know how my leg got up there. I do know that I'm an active sleeper.
That's hysterical.
Okay. So here is another one that I love. So Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter. What a phenomenal couple. So what it was, they were soulmates, but a stronger connection, meaning they shared the number 99, the number 1, the number 8. Talk about meant to be. And the fact that they were both 9s, they were humanitarians. Think what they did. Habitat for Humanity. Remember all the stuff they did.
Yeah.
And I mean, gosh, Jimmy,
up until like recently.
I know. He was in his 90s. He'd have like a black eye because he fell that morning.
Yeah.
But he is, hammering and to help build another home. But also what Jimmy did, he'd go throughout the world to make sure elections were fair and honest.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so, for him to see what was happening here was a shock.
Heartbreaking, right? I'm sure. Yeah.
But here's what I also love. These two had great faith, but do you know what people may not know about them? When they first got together, he was 3 years old and she was 1 day old. She lived next door. The mother, his mama, helped raise her, take care of her. So he peered into her crib when she was 1 day old. That is so darling.
Well, one thing about her, when I read, about her obituary and stuff after she passed, because I always like to read those stories. And I too, because people talk negative about them. And I thought they're just fans. So kind. They're so kind. She, at the time when they were in office, even before, she was really a mental health advocate. And we're still being challenged with people accepting it. But she was before her time acknowledging this stuff and saying, we need help. We need to recognize it's not a negative. So even back then, she was an advocate for things that people.
She was all about it. And she was also very strong. And of course, there was a threat to that. So she had to say, no, I'm not running my husband's administration. Thank you very much. Like she'd have to come out and say stuff like that. But the truth is, because she was born on a 9-day and a 9 life path, in her case, what you see is what you get. And with the 8, I said the year of politics. Well, the trait of the 8, you do care about politics, meaning what's happening in the world. What do we do to make it better? And this is what I would say, no matter how good you were as president, no matter who you are, you will always have a percentage that don't like you just because you were not their party. Now, I would say certainly that's the case with Jimmy, the way he handled the war. And then when Reagan shut up and threatened, we'll blow you up, they said, release the hostages, right? Because Jimmy was willing to talk it through. And, anyone can talk with bravado. We don't know what would have happened, but it was enough for Reagan to say it for them to release them. And it just made Jimmy look weak in that scenario. But guess what? Unlike other presidents who just go off on their merry way, he did not. He's like, oh, no, I'm still going to work on this world. I'm still going to make a difference. And boy, did he. So I say those who didn't like him as president, that's fine. But you can never take away from all the good they did after.
They were true humanitarians. Exactly.
Right. And I believe right now he's 99. So in February of last year, he was in hospice and he said, I want to go home. Well, what's interesting? He goes home and he's still here.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to continue hanging out. So
yes, he knocks me out. And so let's see what's going on with him right now. If they're in the cycle of 7, this is about spirituality. And that man never talked anything less about his faith, right? He believes in God. He believes in making the world a better place. And he's still here. So, wow, I'm blown away.
Me too.
And so I love them. And then we have to talk, even though it's been too much, people talk about Taylor Swift way too much, meaning headline after headline.
I know.
But guess what? What some people don't know, she's obsessed with numerology.
I know. Isn't that cool?
Well,
all of her songs have these numbers and stuff in them.
We're fans.
But I'm going to share with you something she did. This is something I teach, where she picked a date to ensure the success. Now, the original album called 1989 was released October 27th, 2014. Okay. Well, when you break that down, the actual day's a 9. The attitude is a 1 and the whole date's an 8. Well, 189, I already told you, going back to Suzanne Summers, how powerful 189 is. Like it helps ensure success. Well, the album was successful, but this is what knocked me out. This time she released the one where she took her power back and she re-recorded it, right? Her fan base has bopped these up. That's how she made her $1 billion, right? The concert.
Good for her.
Now she's amazing.
Her.
Yeah, she took her power back. So she released it October 27th, 2023. When you break it down, it's identical. The actual day's a 9, month and day's a 1, and the whole date's an 8. There is no way Taylor did not know that. There's no way.
Yes,
she did not know when she was going to release it, what year she'd release it, and that is why it's been so successful.
So, Glynis, we are working on some things. What day this year should we focus on?
Well, what I would tell you in that, like, it really depends on what it is. And Deb, let's look at your numbers real quick, because, you just entered a personal year of 1, which means getting into the driver's seat of your life. Like you really are in a position to say, I don't want it to be like last year. I'm ready to do it differently. And in some ways, you should feel a shot in your arm. Like there's some energy here that wasn't there. Does that make sense?
100%. A booster. Yeah, that means I get to drive, because usually Dana doesn't let me drive my car. So yeah, I think, I have felt it. And I've really, I went back, I think it was in November, and I was really looking at my numerology and looking at what's coming. And so I was so excited about this time with you.
Yeah, well, this 1 personal year cycle, it really does mean, okay, I'm going to leave some things behind. It could even be relationship stuff, relationship, business, all that, where you look at people maybe that are in your life that do not serve you. Like, it's not a healthy thing. Maybe you give so much and it's not returned. It's okay in the new cycle to let them go. You don't have to keep them.
That is very interesting. It is bubbling.
It's
I love
bubbling.
it.
Yeah, right. It's the second January 1st hit. It was in her face.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's why. And it's like, I don't want to do this. Like, what people forget, it's a blessing to be here on this planet and living. But the truth is, it's just a spiritual stomping ground. And if we don't find ways to grow, then we get stuck. We're not going to get where we really want to go. So the year of one, it's going to last for the 9 years, meaning you're going to go to the second cycle, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll climb a ladder. But right now, you're setting the foundation to have great success for the next 9 years.
I love you, Glynis. This is music to my ears.
Yes.
And
it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I have felt so ready. I always say it's the rebirth without the epidural, right? It's like we're going into this new direction. And I just...
You have to. And now keep this in mind, because the world number 8 happens to challenge the 1, you're going to focus on ways to use the 8 to your advantage. And that is something I also covered when I talk about affirmations, right? If you're doing a prosperity affirmation daily in the world number 8, because part of the 8 energy is about financial success. So the one I like, and that I'm offering to your audience, my financial opportunities are boundless, and the universe supports me completely. My financial opportunities are boundless, and the universe supports me completely. My financial opportunities are boundless, and the universe supports me completely.
Boom. I love it. And you said it 3 times, which is great for 369 for the universe. Tesla, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Now, I firmly believe, people always say, how often should I do it? I do say 15 minutes a day. You can break it up. You can go sets of 5. But I have found, magically speaking, since I'm quite the magician myself, when I go the full 15, boy, and you say it out loud because the universe is eavesdropping. So whatever you say is what you get. You put that out there and opportunities happen. The phone will ring. You'll get an offer you didn't expect, some surprise interview, whatever it may be. It's the way to play it in this cycle of 8, world number 8.
So
got it.
Love it. And why not get into the rhythm of the vibration of the numbers for the universe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to, especially if it's a challenge to you. And I'm going to jump in and say, I'm teaching an online numerology workshop on the 27th of this month. It's about those personal year cycles. Which one are you in? And also, if it's a challenge to your life path and all, what do you do to counteract it and make sure you have a great year?
Yes.
That's what I'm teaching. Yeah.
Yes. So you are sharing a promo code for Deb's audience. This is for anyone listening. Yes. The promo code is BELIEVE, BELIEVE, BELIEVE. And when they go to your website, which is www.numberslady.com, they will get 20% off the entry ticket for your workshop on the 27th. It is a Saturday. Get your ticket, go see Glynis, because this is fantastic. I don't know how anybody lives their life without numerology.
And the best part of it is you are so engaging. No one's going to go to sleep, because I'm not a numbers person, but you engage, you pull me in, and I want to know more. So that's the fabulous part about you as an instructor.
Well, and there's something else I'd say, because I've done this now for 30 years. The truth is, numbers are very alive to me. Anyone can recite numbers. Anyone can read, but my interpretation is the gift.
Yeah, you do have a gift.
You do
Absolutely.
have it. Yeah, I love it.
You're our numbers lady. We don't look at anyone else.
I do need to talk about health for this year as well. Health.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
That's,
as I sit here choking, I'm going to tell you, people just need to know, whoever's in your life, health, there are colds and COVID and all that happening in ways I never dreamed, all over the place. Everywhere I'm looking. My friend Dougal Fraser, I don't know if you know him. He's terrific. He got COVID this month. My clients, husband and wife, they both got COVID out of nowhere, but also a cold. So I'm going to say something funny. My mother, who is the love of my life. Anyone who knows me knows my mom, Gwen McCants. She had 11 babies. I'm number 9. She comes here a couple days a week, but
she had she had how many babies?
11 babies. I'm number 9.
Wow, Glynis.
And she's gorgeous. Like, I look like I gave birth to her. You don't believe this woman had a baby. It is so odd. I'm serious.
Oh,
She's
my
got
gosh.
this perfectly ridiculous body. I can't even with this woman. But she comes to see me. This is how she sounds. Glynis, that's my mom. No, Glynis, honey, I'm fine. Yeah, it's allergies. And oh, no, I'm good. And she was coughing and sneezing. I'm like, okay, well, she says it's allergies. Well, I made the mistake of holding her hand, because when it's dark, of course, I'm going to grab her hand, make sure she safely gets wherever. And then I got nailed by it. Now, this is after 3 different friends having a cold. I'm like, can't see ya till you get better. So I was very cocky. I'm like, I'm on top of this. And then, my little mother crawls through the building and gave it to me. So I'm saying,
my gosh.
This is not just a cautionary tale for myself. I'm saying to everyone out there, pay attention to your health in the cycle of 8. If anything's bothering you, lower back pain, get it checked. Neck hurts, go to the chiropractor. Do whatever you can before it becomes extreme or your back goes out or you can't even move your neck, right? Because the world number 8, what happens with it? Sometimes we get so focused and we're like, this is what I feel. This is what I believe. But then if something happens with your health, you're like, I'm too busy to deal with that. I don't have time for that. I'm saying in this world number 8, make time for your health and you'll be very happy you did.
Love it. And I think we keep pushing ourselves because we have a large to-do list. And what will happen is we will get so far behind if we don't take care of those things.
And here's what did they say? If you don't take time for your health will take time from you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
In other words, you're kidding yourself. Eventually you're down and you're like, oh, good job. I would have been out a couple of days. Now I'm out a couple of weeks. And I do believe here in the United States, we push ourselves harder than most, right? We all feel like we're on this treadmill. Oh, I got to get there. I got to get it done. Sometimes you just have to listen to you, that body, the inner voice, and take care of yourself. And on that note, I do have a health affirmation that I want to share with your audience.
Please do.
Please, yes.
Okay. Ready? And this one's great because we're up against negativity, right? And again, the sensitive people who follow you and follow me, we get affected. And then we feel this need to defend. But what we don't deal with mentally can attack us physically, and none of us want to get sick. So here it is. I release all negative thoughts and embrace the vibrant health that is within me now. I release all negative thoughts and embrace the vibrant health that's within me now. I release all negative thoughts and embrace the vibrant health that's within me now.
For all of us sensitive people, as I cough.
And we are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great. I do find when people have the 2 energy in their chart, which you do have that, Deb, as do I, right? The 2 attitude. And for the record, the gift of reading people, that comes from 2. The 2 is psychic. So is the 7. You have a lot of 7s, but it just means it comes through you. You're just a vehicle with the information.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And I do want to add a story that goes along your world, your medium spiritual teacher world. Okay. I told Dana about it. It's such a beautiful story. When I read the woman's email, I literally brought me to tears because it was such a beautiful story. But anyway, she wrote me and she's just like, Glynis, I just want you to know, I hesitated to write this to you but I felt I needed to share. She said, my father meant the world to me and we loved each other. And he promised me when he passed away, he would send me signs that he was thinking of me or that he loved me and that we're still connected. She goes, so I get your numerology calendar, the 2024. She goes, I open it up to January. And she goes, and what do I see? But the quote from my father. Well, her father was Harold Taylor. And that was the first quote I gave for the January newsletter. That part. And she just started sobbing. She knew her father was talking to her. And of course, I was crying, thinking, how cool is it that he chose to use my calendar to give her message?
100%. And it really tells you to look in different directions and different places for those signs. I love it. I'm glad that you were the messenger, the vessel.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, it was a blessing, but it was so powerful.
It's a lovely,
to hear that.
Yeah.
Lovely message.
Well, before we started on the podcast with you today, we definitely want to have you back. So we're going to look at our calendars. That's what made me think about it, because I think we need to have some updates like in April or some other, like maybe a quarter.
Yeah, a lot's going to happen. So we'll definitely check back in. And
oh my gosh.
And I just stay on top of everything that does happen. As you know, you guys would laugh. Like today, we're not on video because today I look like Albert Einstein. Okay. My hair. No, I'm serious. My hair, my husband's like, hello, Albert, because I have naturally curly hair. And when I get in when I'm like in the zone of research, my hair just suddenly becomes Albert Einstein. So there you go.
Love it.
That's fabulous.
I'd love to share that research with you.
Yes.
You two are so delightful.
Well, we just love you, Glynis. And we know that many people in Deb's community are going to sign up and come to your workshop. So, and we love getting your calendar every year, the whole thing. So
thank you.
Make sure you visit Glynis's website.
Yeah, the numbers.
Deb, I want to say something about your gift because, again, I know everybody. You know that about me. I know every.
Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh, every psychic medium, anybody out there who's gifted or not gifted, right? There are plenty that are not.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you,
true, so true. Yeah.
And it's hard. I think that's hard for you, Deb, because you love authenticity. Like you'd be the first. When you meet someone who's also gifted, you're thrilled. You're like, good for you. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're honored. Right?
Yes, 100%.
But if they're not gifted and they're faking it or being a charlatan, it really upsets you because it messes with the community of truth. Okay.
Oh, to my core. You read that correctly.
So I want to say, when I watch videos that you do, I'm telling you, the way I know something's real, I get a chill. It goes through my body, through my toes. And I cannot tell you how often I watch your work. And that's what I get because it's obvious to me. It's not coming from your mind. It's coming from your heart and it's coming through your body. Like it is awesome to see your work for that reason.
Oh, well, I've got some tears in my eyes and I don't know what to say other than thank you so much. That's very, so very true. Kind. Yeah, thank you.
I cannot mean it more. And like I said, I work with some people. I'm like, okay, sweetness. Good luck.
Oh, well, I didn't expect that to be said, Glynis, so I was unprepared, but I am grateful and honored for what you just said.
And as that saying goes, the truth is so exciting and there are many avenues to get there. So numerology is a tool. What you do is a tool. Sometimes tarot can be or astrology,
Absolutely.
But it's that bottom line of truth is the gift.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think that's why you offer workshops. That's certainly why I do it. It's just to help people who are unhappy to find some more joy and more hope in their life.
Absolutely. Thank you. Glynis, big
hug.
Are
amazing, Glynis.
Thank you, girls.
Big hug. And you made me cry, which makes Dana happy. I don't have tears very often, so that was touching my heart.
When your eyes leak, when your heart opens up, your eyes leak, right?
So, yeah. Thank you, Glynis.
That's so true. Well, thank you both, ladies. I appreciate it and hope to see your people at this month for some good news.
Yes, they'll be visiting you.
Chances are you've tried a lot on your journey towards fulfillment, purpose, and joy. But nothing has worked as much as you wanted, which is so frustrating, right? The reason previous courses, books, readings, and even therapy haven't worked well is because they were all missing the most important element in creating change, your soul. That's where the SOULution comes in. The SOULution is a proven inside-out transformational program with spiritual teacher Deb Shepherd. Through personalized mentoring and exercises, you'll connect deeply with your soul and the lessons you're meant to learn in this lifetime, so you can finally thrive in all areas. Over the past 20 years, Deb has helped hundreds of thousands of people release what's holding them back and step into the flow of unstoppable power, purpose, and passion. She can help you too. Plus, as a mentee in the SOULution, you also get the option to upgrade to have private one-on-one sessions with Deb every month. Personal sessions and readings are currently booked out until June. But when you're in the SOULution, you can get in every month over the next 6 months. If you're hearing this, there's a very good chance your soul is nudging you to join this incredible life-changing program. You won't regret it. Doors are closing, and there are only 8 spots remaining. Go to debshepherd.com to secure your spot.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it inspired you. If you enjoyed our conversation, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified of new episodes. And let's get connected. Visit debshepherd.com for more insights, support, workshops, and to book a session with me. And finally, always remember, your loved ones in spirit are just a thought away. Even though they're on the other side, they're always by your side.